I find it very bizarre that she's not willing to show any documents or any of the complaints in writing or provide any names of her witnesses or the other women. However, she is going to name the Sony rep who she spoke with, Miss Giannotti. But like, you're fine to give her name, but nobody else's. That's very strange. I wonder why. So already on page 5 here, we have a huge contradiction to Blake's introduction and opening, where she said that Justin took no accountability for the way that he made anyone feel uncomfortable. Right here in her own writing, it says on June 1st, 2023, Mr. Baldoni responded to that female cast member in writing, acknowledging that he was aware of her concerns and that adjustments would be made. So he did acknowledge it. You said at the beginning that, oh gosh. And then it says that even though he said adjustments would be made, Wayfair took no actions to investigate the reported conduct, but they acknowledged it and said that it would change. However, they didn't implement any protections at the time. Just 1 week later, the same female cast member told Miss Lively about her growing concerns on the set, and she found it difficult to talk to Mr. Baldoni. So what did Miss Lively do? Well, instead of approaching it with any seriousness and, doing anything about it, she just talked shit again about Justin to another cast member. She said, I find it really hard to speak to him. I try to cover it with busyness, but I'm not sure that covers what's going on. Later, another female cast member confided in Blake Lively that she too felt uncomfortable at set, and all of this occurred and documented in writing almost 1 year before the editing of the film began. Misery loves company, and if this was really going on, Blake, why didn't you do anything about it? And where are the documents? Where is it in writing? And if they said, hey, this makes me feel uncomfortable, and there was behavior changed, well, I don't know. It just seems maybe she's putting fuel on the fire. So after the guild striked and the production was about to get ready and underway, Miss Lively confided in a text to another female cast member, probably the same one, I'm assuming, but we don't know because there's no names, that she was dreading going back to our film. I keep getting hits of the experience in really upsetting ways. The female cast member expressed empathy for Miss Lively and confirmed similar feelings. Well, yeah, what is she going to do? Tell you you're cray-cray? Tell you that she's so excited to go back? Tell you that she can't wait to make the movie? You're supposed to be a leader. Once again, you are a producer, and you're confiding in a female cast member, again, kind of poisoning the water here, saying how uncomfortable you feel. Her words are just a little bit contradictory for me, as before returning to production following the guild strike, based on Wayfair's complete failure to investigate or address any of the complaints conveyed by Miss Lively and others, Miss Lively decided to speak up and require that Sony and Wayfair agree to a set of protections to ensure safe set for all cast and crew. Right. But literally just before this, you said that they did acknowledge it in writing and that they would change, So it's kind of weird that you say now they didn't address it, but then earlier you said it was addressed in writing. I mean, whether either they did or they didn't. It's just so much, one after the other. It's just one thing, and then you read the other thing and you're like, wait a second, I just read that you said that they did address it in writing, but now you're saying they didn't address it. It's a little confusing, that's all. It does say here that when she did provide them with the protection for return for production, that it was a 17-point provision. So that's good, because originally she was saying it was 30, and that's what the New York Times had filed, and now we're back to the 17 points. So that's good. But also we do know Justin, in his own receipts, said that he wasn't allowed to change anything. He wasn't allowed to ask questions about it. They couldn't expand on it. They had to agree to it point blank. That was it. Even though she does still state that it was a 17-point return to work, she still provided a 30-point Protection Act. I think one of them is really funny, where it says that Justin Baldoni isn't allowed to sage any of Blake's employees anymore. Girl, why do you think he's trying to sage y'all? Bad juju, bad juju. But it does state here in capital letters and in italics that importantly, none of the requested protections were tied in any way to Miss Lively's creative input of the film and were months before any discussion regarding the cut of the film. That's very interesting because some of the points do say that she has to approve shots, she has to approve the producer, she has to approve shots that use the body double. And yeah, so that's a little bit strange because it does seem that like there were a lot of rules in order for her to go back, and that there were rules even around shots that she wasn't in. Oh gosh, here we go, not being credited again. Miss Lively did not request, nor did she receive, any creative rights, editing rights, credits, or any other role on the film beyond her roles as an actress and executive producer. Everything she requested, as laid out in the document, was designed to ensure the safety and well-being of the cast and crew. In other words, at the precise moment in time when Miss Lively had maximum leverage prior to resuming production, she did not use that leverage to obtain anything other than protection for herself and others to ensure a safe work environment for all. The notion that she did all of this as some sort of Byzantine plot to take control of the movie at some future point, which she did not do in any event, is absurd, and there is not a shred of evidence to support it. Girl, you got the composers gone. You got the original editors gone. You took control of the dailies and hired your own editors that worked with your husband. You had that man sitting in a basement at his own premiere because you were too uncomfortable to be with him. However, you were with him the entire time of the second half of filming, going on jets with him, inviting him to your house to practice and rehearse the sexual scenes, allowing him to hold your baby, breastfeeding in front of him. But you didn't take over the movie? She goes on to say, literally in her own lawsuit, that after receiving the document, Wayfair responded that Wayfair, Sony, and production respectfully acknowledge that Miss Lively has concerns regarding safety, professionalism, and workplace culture. Although our perspective differs, in many aspects, ensuring a safe environment for all is paramount, irrespective of different viewpoints regarding your outlined request. We find most of them not only reasonable, but also essential for the benefit of all parties involved. Yeah, they're saying right here, like, they don't agree, your perspectives are different, but because they can't say anything or dispute anything, because they were told they couldn't, of course they want to just say, like, hey, whatever to get you back to set, girl. Like, whatever to finish this movie, right? She also names Miss Giannotti, again from Sony, who texted her on November 29th and said, so glad Todd Black, who I'm going to find out exactly who he was a producer brought on Miss Lively's request, is now overseeing everything, but wanted to check in, offer anything I can. I know this has been beyond challenging, to say the least. We at Studio want to support you the best we can. Yeah. Everyone just wants to support you so you can go back to work, so that they can finish the movie, so that they can make you happy, right? Like, if you felt that uncomfortable, you bring these points to them. They're like, hey, we don't agree, but don't worry. We're gonna make everything okay. Like, none of that will happen anymore, right? Is acknowledgement. Like, I don't know. I'm very interested to see who this Todd Black is, but let's move it forward here.